Hello loves, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my planner system. As you can see, it's rather hardy, and how it came to be. So first, we're gonna remove all of these because it didn't start with any of these. It started with this one. Hobonichi cousin. A friend of mine gifted this to me at the top of 2025. I didn't really know what to do with it. You can see I kind of started to try to use the weeks. So it kind of evolved to where I was doing some planning, some collaging, and in the process of all of this, what I discovered, and I might have even written it down somewhere in the back. No, that's just projects. So what I discovered, I started writing a list, and this is what I recommend doing if you're trying to figure out what your journal system is going to be. I started writing a list of everything as I was using it. This is what I was talking about in another video. You can't know exactly how you're going to use something or why you're going to use it or in what capacity until you actually start using it. And what happened for me is I love the cousin. Like, this is an awesome size and you have so much space and you could just really do beautiful collage in here, or just use it as a journal or writing. You know, there's so many ways people use these. But what I discovered as I was using it is I needed separate places. It's kind of like just the way my mind works. Like, I need separate places for different things so that I know where things go. It's kind of like, you know, your house will be like clean and organized. If everything has a place, it has a place to return to. If it doesn't have a place, then it's going to end up on the floor, or it's, you know, it's going to be messy. So that's my Virgo, you know, who's it, what's it about cleaning and organizing. But I started noticing, like, oh, I'm an astrologer, so I like to track the astrological, you know, happenings, what's going on with that. So I started noticing that. I started noticing right away that I wanted to use this as a journal. Like, I wanted a straight journal and that I was missing that practice. Then I started realizing, well, I kind of want a separate place to collage. Maybe the two of those can be combined. And some of it, a lot of it then has to do with the planner itself and even the external. This is a gallon leather cover, which I really liked, and I think I will reuse this for something else. And all of these blank pages in the back, like, I will probably cut these out and use them as a journal at some point because it's such a shame to waste. But yeah, I abandoned this because this other system of all of these planners started to make themselves known to me. So the very first one of these that I had, I believe, is the Travelers. And so for a while I was using these two together. And, you know, I was kind of planning in here, and then this was sort of becoming like a work journal, a workplace to like record ideas and projects and calendaring and all of that. And that felt good for a while. And then I found this cover, and this is from Baumkuchen. This is a Hobonichi cover. I was not looking for it at all. I was actually looking for a cover for the cousin. And I really like this cover. I mean, it is nice, but, and I do want to use it at some later date. But I found this and I was so in love with it. I talked about this in another video. I was so in love with it that it shaped everything else I started to do. And because this felt so creative and it spoke to my heart, and of course I had to fill it. This is an A6 and it was smaller than I had been used to using. And because of that, I needed a smaller journal. So I was like, am I going to get Astrology, like just straight notebook? Is this going to become that journal that I wanted? And then I got this and I sat with it for a little while. And actually, because it was later in the year, and also because I'm an astrologer and I'm in the process of breaking up with our Gregorian calendar, this is a spring start. This is an April start, because let's all get on the same page. The year starts in April astrologically, and nature tells us the same thing. So because of that, I was like, this is my little act of rebellion. And I even put this sticker in here, become ungovernable, because that's what it felt like to me, to kind of like push against the status quo and do something different. So this became like a page a day kind of journal I will write certain things, but it's not like super personal. It's, well, I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it's like, because I'm an astrologer and I read energy and I've been doing that for years and years, what I do is I kind of just sit down and take the pulse on like what's happening today. And I'll put the stickers down and then I'll kind of write in, you know, what it is. So that's how this came to be. And so this kind of became like my creative space for the day. And I feel like I'm kind of, you know, communing with my creative muse here. Then I decided, okay, well, this one I'm going to continue using the way that I was using it. And I've got my work calendar in here. And I kind of like these undated planners because you can just do it. I use that same stamp set that I've shown in another video, and put my stickers down. And I track only like the astrological things and, you know, a couple other things, but mostly this is just for work and my astrological tracking and kind of what I'm working on. So then I had these two. Then I realized I really wanted a straight journal. So then I ended up with this. And this is the Midori Codex. I think it's called A Page a Day 365 or something like that. So this is, I'm not going to show this. This is just like straight journaling. This is what I talked about in that other video. I teach classes on Insight Timer. I've got a 4-part astrology series. I have a 40-day Learn to Chant course on there. I have a new one called Energy Medicine and the Chakras. I will probably eventually teach something on the collage creative practice, and I'm working on an essential oil class right now. But anyways, in the 40-day Learn to Chant course, I talk about this thing called the Go Free Yourself meditation, which is I recommend in that practice speaking it out loud, but everything that you need to say to get it out of your body. And it's a beautiful witnessing practice because it shows you what's going on inside that you may not be aware of. So that's what I use this for. So every day I'll come in, I think I even dated the one for today. So I'll come in, I date it, and I just let it flow. And that is like my morning practice. And then my other morning practice, I decided that I wanted to, okay, let's be honest. I just wanted the passport size. I was like, it's so cute. I want to have the passport size too. And then I decided, what am I going to do with it? And I decided that I wanted to keep a gratitude journal. So I have one book in here for gratitude. So every morning I stamp and I write what I'm grateful for. And then I have a second book in here for tracking my weightlifting. And so that's that. So this is just like really simple. I just pull it out every morning, write what I'm grateful for. I write down my weightlifting when I do that. And so this probably gets the least amount of use of all of them. And then out of kind of this practice of having this monthly calendar, I was like, well, I want to go more detailed down. Like I was kind of missing the Hobonichi cousin and more of the like detailed planning and getting down into that. So I actually had this in here initially, and this is the GU, this is from Baumkuchen. It's the Travelers Company and Baumkuchen Collaborative. And so it's called the GU Weekly. And I think they have a monthly one as well. But I saw this somewhere, probably on Baumkuchen's website. And so I originally ordered this insert and I had it inside here. I mean, to me, this is chunky enough already, but I had this in the back of here. And then it felt so thick and I was like, this is like a bullet carrying this thing around and I don't love it. The other thing, and this is why you have to like lean into the practice and feel what these things want to say to you and how they want to work with you and how they can best support you. So what I realized is the only time I'm ever using this is when I'm sitting at my desk actively working and I've got my page open and I'm like, oh, this is what I'm doing today. This is what I'm doing here. And I mean, it's not super exciting to look at, but you know, this is what I've got going on. So what I do is, I showed this in another video too, but I love her. This is like the hand of the mother or the goddess that is on my work. So this is only for work. I mean, I do put a few personal things if I'm like going out with a friend or something like that. And then what I'll do is I put this here and I leave it open. So I just use this at my desk. Like literally that's it. I I have this out at my desk and I look to refer to what I'm doing, and then I put it away. So I don't even really take this with me. And I have a whole, like I have a bag and a whole system of how I take these to the coffee shop. My husband and I have started doing this together. And so we do it every weekend. We take our journals and he draws and I write and I do my collaging, and it's one of my favorite things. But anyway, so I just wanted to do this simple, kind of, it's not really simple, but video about how all of this came to be. Because I think what happens is, like, I see a lot of videos on YouTube about journaling practice and like people saying, you know, oh, I had this system and now I'm burning this down and I'm starting over and I'm doing it different and whatever. Number one, I think that's just part of the creative practice. I think it's part of the creative process. Like, you use something and then you learn, okay, this is what I like about it, this is what I don't like about it, and you edit, pivot, adjust. That's what we're doing as creators and spiritual beings. So number one, I don't think we should shame ourselves for any of that, but also I don't think it has to be an all or nothing. Like, you know, I'm using this in like with this, like I'm using this and it's only used this way, or I have to have this one book, this one system meet all of my needs. I think that's kind of ridiculous, honestly, to even think that one thing can meet all of your needs. And the other thing that I think is interesting about this, I mean, to look at this, you know, if you're like looking at this with a critical, judgmental eye, you might feel like, oh my gosh, this is, you know, so much, and it's like gluttonous and excess and whatever. This brings me so much joy, I can't even tell you. I would let go of a whole lot of other things to have this. And the other thing is, I think that when we are, as we are creators, I think it's really, really important to allow ourselves to spread out. And I know as a kid, I always felt like I was too much, and I had just like too much inside of me and I didn't know what to do with it. So I shamed it and I shoved it all down. And this whole practice of leaning into these and going, you know, starting with this and then going here and then adding the journal and then adding this and then going, oh, I just want the one for work, and, you know, like that. I am so happy with this system. It makes me super, super joyful every morning. Like I'm a little kid, you know, coming up to my studio to just go, okay, I'm going to touch all my books. I'm going to get into all the things and do what I love. So I think it's really important to allow ourselves, and this is my version of doing it, maybe yours is something else, but to allow yourself the practice of just leaning into it and letting yourself be too much, letting yourself like escape into it. And no, that's not the right word. Dive into it and spread out and take up this space and that space and this space and that space. And then you realize the beauty of actually the magnitude of creativity that lives inside of you. But if you limit it and say, I can only use this one journal for the year, and this one book has to hold everything that I am, and it has to suit all of my needs. And believe me, I had a moment about setting this aside because a dear friend of mine gave me this, and I was like, I don't want to let it go. But I realized once I got all of these and I had all the things in the pocket that I needed them in, this became extra. So I'm like, I don't want to fill it just to fill it. I want to do it the way that I want to do it. So anyways, I hope that's helpful. I absolutely love this practice. Please, if you have any questions, ask. I love this. It's just literally my favorite thing. And that's it. All right. Happiness on the creative venture, the creative journey, the spiritual journey. And I want to know what system you're using. Like, what has worked for you? What have you abandoned? You know, where have you landed? So anyway, all right. Love you.